Yesterday was one of my, I would say, more prouder moments in the time that I've worked in hockey or worked with people in general, because it was a group of athletes who, unfortunately on our team are all white, standing and using their platform and their voice to continue the conversation that's been going on for hundreds of years.
Welcome back to Andrew Says on Rebel News. By now you're used to athletes and sports teams presenting themselves as moral authorities, speaking on the oppression and atrocities that go on in Western society. The same society that allows them to make millions of dollars, or at the very least, get a very, very expensive education. We've heard Colin Kaepernick say that America sucks while collecting checks from large corporations like Disney and Nike. LeBron James remarks on how hard it is for him to be an American, while praising China's communist dictatorship and calling Michael Jordan's beloved former coach a racist. Now, earlier this week, Toronto Maple Leafs general manager Kyle Dubas took this a step further, possibly to the extent we've never seen until now. When remarking on his players donning Black Lives Matter shirts to start their training camp, Dubas passingly mentioned how it's unfortunate in this situation that all of his players are white.
Yesterday was one of my, I would say, more prouder moments in the time that I've worked in hockey or worked with people in general, because it was a group of athletes who, unfortunately on our team are all white, standing and using their platform and their voice to continue the conversation that's been going on for hundreds of years.
That's a professional sports executive saying it's unfortunate that his players are all of a certain skin color. Now, I was under the impression that a team should seek to acquire the best players possible, regardless of the color of their skin, but maybe that's just me. As a big hockey fan, I'd like to give Dubas the benefit of the doubt here, but it's still a very odd, self-deprecating thing to say, especially on television. Imagine the general manager of the Houston Rockets said, it's unfortunate that his team is made up of only black players, which they are. He probably wouldn't say that because it's insane. They're a playoff team. Should they get rid of James Harden, one of the best players in the world, so that somebody else can be happy about the racial makeup of their roster? Of course not. That's crazy. Keeping in mind, though, that the very same GM, Daryl Morey, caught heat for daring to support Hong Kong in 2019. It's funny how that works. He'll probably never voice his opinion on anything controversial again, lest Twitter come for him. Is there some sort of problem at Rogers Sportsnet, or is there just a heavy political bias at play? If you recall, Don Cherry was promptly fired from the network after 38 seasons in his role for referring to immigrants as "you people." But back in May, YouTuber Steve Dangle, who routinely does videos for Sportsnet's YouTube channel, said the following: "Donald Trump is a cowardly, weak-kneed, bedwetting piece of shit, and if you support him, so are you." Well, that's just bursting at the seams with intelligence, isn't it, Steve? Thank you for your commentary on that. But to be completely honest, I'm a big fan of the show that this was set on. Tim McAuliffe and Sid Seixeiro are smart, respectable sports broadcasters, as is Donovan Bennett, who was filling in for one of them at the time. But if something like this was said by another person, saying it's unfortunate that my team is of a particular race, that person would likely be fired immediately, and a swift apology would be coming from the network as soon as you can see it. Let's be clear, I do hope it was a mistake, and it could have been, and I don't want anyone fired for their role in this, but at some point the hypocrisy does have to come to an end. And you can't just give passes only to those who favor certain political organizations. No one is looking for general managers of hockey teams to make political statements. I don't think they know why they're saying these, and I don't think any fans are clamoring for it. But time and time again, sports figures and corporations alike think it's best practices to take sides, to divide people, when no one but a few people, except for those on Twitter, are asking for it. Of course, it can only be for one side. If it's for the other side, then you're canceled, you're fired, stay in your lane, stop talking. If you want to have complex political arguments in sports where it isn't actually required, then you better be ready to have actual conversations, rather than just virtue signaling for the spirit of the time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can see all of my videos. I know you want to. And don't forget to go to rebelnewsplus.com for exclusive behind-the-scenes shows.